Bounce King.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode number 80 of the Fresh Mondays podcast.
Hitting milestones as usual. 80 is
Yeah.
a nice number.
It is. I agree.
We are still in the same place that we were last time.
Yeah. It's just getting a little bit more difficult. To be honest, this quarantine lifestyle is very, very challenging for many reasons. And I'm very excited to say that we're going to actually have someone join our conversation. For those of you who have been keeping up with our podcast, we did mention that we were going to try to get some guests from different states. And luckily, we were able to get a friend of the pod, Tracy, to join our conversation.
Yes, it's going to be insightful to catch someone else's experience. I mean, you and I are in different locations and we have one experience. I know numbers of cases have gone up for me in my area. I know for your area as well. Every morning we wake up with something new. And so this would be interesting to hear what Tracy has to say because she's more in the location of where the cases have boomed.
Yeah.
And the way of life has really changed and impacted her differently.
Right.
Like travel and those kind of things. So let's bring Tracy into the building.
Yeah.
See what she's got to say.
It's so nice to see a different face. I'll be honest with you.
That's what I meant.
I'll take any gender right now. I'm like just so sick of this shit.
Any new voices is fine with me.
Right?
Anything fresh is just
How's everyone doing?
good. How are you? How are you holding up? Thank you for joining us, by the way. Thank you for
having me.
Accepting the invitation to be here with us. How are you?
Of course.
How are you holding?
Okay, how am I? That's like a loaded question. I'm okay. I'm not sick. How's everyone else doing? How are you girls doing?
Yes, I am grateful for that. I'm not sick. However, I think I do have like phantom symptoms at times. You know how sometimes you're like, yo, I don't know. I feel weird. And I felt weird for like the past 2 days. And like, you're kind of self-diagnosing. So I don't know if it's in my head or if it's because I just went to the supermarket. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Every time I leave the house, when I come back, I'm like, ooh, I kind of do have a headache. And I am kind of like coughing a little bit. Every time I leave the house, I do this. That's why I'm like, you know what? I'm just not leaving the house anymore.
You gave up on leaving. I
gave up.
Everyone in the family is good, which is a great thing. I don't know anyone, but everyone seems to be in good health and protecting themselves, I guess, in all ways. And
that's a good thing.
Constantly. My hands are freaking dry, and that's the one thing I hate ever.
I got this hand cream from Amazon. It's like it has colloidal silver in it, and it's the only thing that's helping my hand right now, because especially my right hand, which I'm like cooking with more and everything like that, is just so dry that it's like about to bleed. So
yeah. No, I get it. But for those of you who are not aware, Tracy, please tell everybody where you are and your perspective from your state, because as you guys know, I'm in Miami. Marley is in the Boston area, and you are?
I'm in Queens, New York City. Yeah, I'm in the epicenter. Yeah, I'm literally at ground zero. This is the weirdest thing that's ever happened probably in my lifetime. And, I've been talking a lot with friends, from New York and who have lived in New York. And, we talked about, when other times when things were weird. So obviously another time when things were weird was 9/11.
Right.
Right. So 9/11, we all had, I don't know if you guys were in New York at the time, but
I was in high school when it happened. So
yeah. So I think we're the same age. So, it was weird. Again, we were in high school. So it's like, we weren't really commuting to the city for work or anything like that. So it didn't really disrupt our lives that much, but it was weird. It was a weird thing. It was, people were afraid to start traveling into the city, and people were kind of staying home. And it was just the fear outside. And then, the other thing that had come up was the blackout.
Yeah.
Again, when we were in college, I think that was. And, we had a blackout for maybe 24 hours, maybe not even. And I was like, oh my God, how are we going to live anymore?
And it was hot.
It was like, so hot. I slept in a bathtub filled with cold water because I couldn't believe it. And this was being uncomfortable for like, I don't know, like I said, 24 hours, maybe we were uncomfortable. And it's like it has the similar feel. This is like the blackout in 9/11 that's lasted, you know, that's never ending sort of right now.
Right.
That it
Right.
just
And
gets
people are
bigger and
dying.
bigger with time. As
Yeah.
time goes on, it just continues to change, as
Right. And
opposed
then,
to
you know,
like getting better.
exactly. And you watch the news and they're like, all right, well, you know, it's going to get a lot worse for a few more weeks. And you're like, but how? How is this getting worse? This is really bad.
Right.
So I think that looking forward to the future too, we're like, but when is it going to end? And not having a definitive date and not having a definitive, even, you know, people are saying summer, people are saying fall. I don't know what that means.
I mean, honestly, they're saying that it's gonna get worse before it gets better. That's been
Sure.
the kind of message they're trying to really instill in us, because they want people to kind of stay home and just, you know, be respectful of the rules and just be patient. This will be sooner. It'll be over sooner if you guys just calm the fuck down and stay home. Like, that's what they're basically kind of telling
Right.
everybody. But now, for example, I'm in Florida, right? And a bunch of New Yorkers came to Florida within this past like week and a half, because they're leaving the city, because the city is so crazy that they're like, yo, let me just get out of here. Because everybody in New York has family in Florida at the end of the day.
Of
So like
course.
they come down here. So at
Especially
the
if you're Italian
borders,
or Jewish. I mean,
yeah, we have sections for all kinds out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when people are driving down here, they're literally getting stopped at the border now. And me and Marley were just having this conversation like 2 weeks ago, how we're going to start becoming separated by states. Like, this shit is really like a history book now, like
so are you
to
guys
another
building a
level.
wall?
Right. That's the next step. You're right, Tracy. We're just one call away from building the wall right there.
You
And
know,
it's
to be
already, we
honest
want to
with
build
you,
the wall between South Florida and and the rest of
Right.
Florida.
Regular
that
Florida.
Because South
I can
Florida and other
understand that
Florida is
too.
different.
Yeah.
I could totally. Well, I think that most states, or at least coastal states, should have a wall between the coast and the rest of the state.
Yeah.
I think that's what really screws you up.
Yeah.
It's just it's a very, very strange time here. And yeah, a lot of people are running away. And the problem is, and this is where my anxiety is coming, you know, usually when something like this happens, you know, where there's, you know, 9/11, you get away, right? So if say when that was happening, it's like, okay, just leave New York City and you're okay. And now there's literally nowhere in the world that's safe.
Right.
And this is
Right.
what's giving me so much anxiety, because, you know, there's so many times where I'm like, maybe we should just like rent a place upstate or rent a place up north somewhere or just get out. But where are you really safe? If you're going to the woods and you're going to somewhere more secluded, are you just secluding yourself and now you're not even going to have a source of food because there's not going to be a grocery store anymore?
Right.
I can
I mean,
imagine the number
I
of
wouldn't
people,
advise that personally. I don't think it's a good
Absolutely
idea.
not.
Yeah.
but I can imagine the number of people who have done that already.
Right. I mean, most
Like,
people are going to their country houses, their summer houses, their second homes, and all day long on the news, I hear, you know, Cuomo just saying, please stay at your primary residence.
Right. So let's talk about Cuomo running for president. Am I
I'm
the only
into
one that
it.
sees it? I see
Yeah.
it.
Listen, I think it's too late now, but
Mhm.
I'm into it. I've always been into a good Cuomo. I've been into, you know, like an older Italian guy. I'm into it all the way. Except I draw the line. I draw the line at Giuliani, though. I mean,
No, I
yeah,
get it. I mean, he's like a tyrant, which is a little different.
I think
However,
he lost his mind. That's what it is. I think that because back in the day, Giuliani was like kind of cool.
mhm.
And then I think like he lost it very slowly. He unraveled.
I mean, he was cool when we were growing up because he was like the mayor, you know what I
Right.
mean? And like he really like whipped the city up into shape, and like he was super strict, and like you know, people could ride the trains again. Like, you know, shit happened that was
Right.
positive. However, this Cuomo vibe that I like is that I'm a sucker for the accent. You know what I'm saying? I can
Yeah.
appreciate
Of course.
when a person in power has an accent that I'm comfortable with. You know what
The
I mean?
whole
'Cause
character, the whole
yeah,
demeanor,
it's like I'm a
everything.
fan.
It's the
He
package
told
that has
everyone.
it there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He told everyone, I think it was last weekend, he's like, listen, stay home, make some sauce.
Right.
I was like, yeah, I understand this. Like I'm totally relating to this. Also, his brother has coronavirus right
Right.
now. And so it's like, it's impacting him personally. So he's like, I am your everyday guy. You know, my family has it. Like I'm really like relating to the people at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not often that you see a politician relating to anyone.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And that's when it really gets real. Is
Yeah.
when a politician gets touched by something
Right.
and it impacts them, because essentially they're always thinking of others, they're always thinking about their constituents, they're always thinking of those people. But when it's your actual family member, just like any of us, you go head on.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think
Go
if
straight
Trump
through it.
got anything, or if any of his family got anything, he would still be exactly who he is, because I do not think that he has the possibility to be empathetic at all.
I agree with you. There's a missing, either he doesn't understand, and this really can go deep into this, but either he doesn't fully understand the impact that's occurring, because
No,
we're
he
talking
doesn't
about the
care.
numbers are larger in the bigger cities. I thought about this the other
Sure.
day.
Well,
The numbers
naturally.
are right. So naturally, it's all in the bigger cities, right? Seattle, especially, California, all those areas. In the middle, right, where a lot of his constituents and a lot of base are, it's very just double digit, right? And so I think he's still trying to cater, or it's not cater, but still trying to come off, trying to keep those
I
people
understand.
soft.
Right.
You
I
get what
could
I'm saying?
understand that.
So that's why he
Yes.
keeps it really like, it'll be great the 30th. While all of us out here in these big cities are like, what the F are you talking
Right.
about?
He's playing for the vote right now, is what you're
Right.
saying.
And so he's keeping it real like mid, because those folks in the middle, if Oklahoma only got 50, Oklahoma's going to have like maybe max 100 of the whole state, right? I'm just
Sure.
throwing out numbers. But here,
I
I live in a
mean,
town outside of a city that has 200. You're just like, I really can't go outside. My town is small.
right.
And that's the 200 that 200 Oklahoma has. So I think he's playing it like that. And I was just giving this a thought, but also the actions aren't really, to me, showing themselves that the preparedness is kind of missing in moments.
I think his
a whole
biggest
dilemma.
weakness, which has always been his weakness since he came into office, he's not good at pacifying situations. He's not good at
Mm-mm.
reassuring people and giving people that vote of confidence.
No,
I
because he has
understand.
no empathy. There's something that's disconnected in his brain as a person. I don't know if it's something that has to do with, his business sense or his money or his power that's gotten to his head, but there is a part of his brain that's just disconnected.
Yeah.
I can understand why you're saying that. And I think that the thing is that at the end of the day, politicians are they're wordsmiths. They're very good at kind of delivering information in a way that a massive amount of people are not going to go shit crazy when they say it.
Sure.
That's a skill when you are a public speaker, period. So like he doesn't possess that because he's never,
Right.
you know what I mean? So it's like, that is very crucial when the country is looking for support. Even though the president is not a doctor and the president's not going to save the day, he's not a god, he's not a king, he's just a person.
He thinks he is. That's the problem.
Yeah, but right now, what people need in these environments, even though we're super modern and all this other bullshit, you need to feel like someone is looking out for you and has your
Right,
back.
and that's why we have Daddy Cuomo.
I want him to be my uncle. I'm not gonna lie. I want him to be my uncle. I want to come over for dinner. Like, he has that vibe. Like, yo, this guy is cool. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
Do you guys did you hear about the nipple ring thing?
Yeah, so that nipple ring gate has been going on. I read an entire article about it. Some piercers in the area have been interviewed in this article, and they go back and forth. Someone's like, that's definitely a nipple ring. Someone else is like, it probably has something to do with a bulletproof vest that he's wearing or something like that. So basically, like, imagine if the bulletproof vest comes to about where your nipples would be, right? You would have a strap over your shoulder that might be Velcro, that might go over it, and then the edges might stick out, because they also said if it is a nipple ring, it's totally crooked.
They have really dissected this shit.
Right. Yeah. Oh no, I read like a 5-page article on it today. This is what I'm doing with my time.
I mean, how do we feel about men with nipple rings in general?
I'm into it. Sure.
Really?
I don't know. Why not? Listen, I don't know. I dated a guy once with a tramp stamp.
What?
He had a tramp
Was
stamp.
he a bisexual?
He claims he wasn't, but question mark. The rumors came out. He had a tramp stamp. I've dated guys with nipple rings. I've dated guys with, I think, like, it just depends on your lifestyle. Like, are you a buttoned up businessman with nipple rings? All right, maybe that's creepy. Are you, a rock guy? Are you the bass player in some band with nipple rings? Like, that's fine.
Then that makes sense. Just like I was having a conversation with my cousin and men with nail polish now.
Yes, it's the same thing.
And I was like, it's just your lifestyle. Right.
I'm not a fan.
Right. But like, if we were in public and some man was just at a bar, regular old day, and had his nail polish on, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But if it's a rocker, it's a celebrity, and he got his nails
Right,
done,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, does it fit? So,
does it fit the character?
Exactly. When we were like in high school and stuff, people used to like try to have like a thing, right? You would have to like, there would be girls that were goth, and then there were girls that were like skaters, or, you kind of like pick your thing. And then there were some girls that were goth, right? And you're like, yeah, she looks good like that. Like, that's
Right.
a thing. And then it's like, if I dressed like a goth, it would look like I was wearing a Halloween costume.
Right.
So it's like, does it go
or
with
your
look?
parents are like, should we go to a therapist or something?
Right, exactly. Like a cry for help.
Right. Exactly.
But if it goes with your look, then yeah, I mean, go for it. But I mean, if you're just trying too hard, no, that creeps me out.
But also, if you're like Cuomo's age, how old is he? Like 50s, 60s?
I would say like 60s, right? Yeah, probably like.
If that nipple piercing is hanging on into your 60s, that's different.
Did you just get it? That's another. See, this is another problem. Is it a nipple ring that you had since you were in college, or is this a new nipple ring?
I don't know. I guess I'm old-fashioned, ladies. I don't think,
Open your mind, Diana.
I don't think that's my sauce. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a fan.
You're in Miami. I mean, you have to be open with nipple ring guys.
I get it, but most of the guys that are openly gay here are openly gay. So it's like,
well, see,
really not...
I used to work in the music industry. So I used to date guys with, nipple rings. I used to date guys that wear nail polish. I used to date guys that wear eyeliner. And if it fit their personality, it's not something that you would think would make them look feminine.
Yeah.
Right. Like a Johnny Depp. Like he has that weird
he's a
vibe.
rock star. Exactly. Right. So it's like, you're not looking at him going like, he has eyeliner on. Right. I don't know. Like, that's a big turnoff. It's like, no, that's part of his look.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if my boyfriend was just wearing eyeliner around the house, I mean, I support it.
Right. Like, I support you, baby, 100%.
I support you. Would I be attracted to that? I mean, I would probably, question what was happening in my life.
Where's this relationship going? Yeah.
Right.
What
exactly.
are we doing? Tracy, you were talking about you've worked in the entertainment industry, and we know, and of course the audience may or may not know, that you also are a comedian. So you do stand-up comedy. And in this entire pandemic, is that the word? Yes, pandemic. How is that effective? How to have an effect on your work, on what you do? Because I know for me, I kind of have a corporate America 9 to 5-ish, whatever, work at home, fix up the desktop. How does that work out for you out there?
So comedy has been canceled 100%. So I am not working. The good thing is I am also a podcaster. So I do have work there. But as far as stand-up comedy goes, stand-up comedy is canceled. This is the only thing that is comforting me right now, is that stand-up comedy is not only canceled for me, but it's also canceled for Chris Rock,
all of
Dave Chappelle, Jerry Seinfeld, the people that maybe are better than me, the people that are worse than me. Everyone is on the same playing field.
Right.
So it's not like, another comic that I was talking to said it's like we're all athletes and we all tore our ACL at the same exact time.
Ooh, yeah.
No one is surpassing anyone. No one, it's just paused.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole planet feels like it's paused, but
exactly.
How about like, all right, you know how a lot of people right now are maximizing this whole going live and like, telling everybody
it's a lot.
In. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that that's effective for a comedian? Because sometimes, in my opinion, I think one of the best things about watching a stand-up comedian is the energy from the audience and the live audience and seeing how the people are reacting to jokes. So would that make it more challenging if you were like to do like a web viral series of something?
Right.
Like that?
So it depends on like kind of what kind of comedy you're doing. So yeah, if I was just going to stand there, a lot of my friends are doing stand-up comedy shows on on Zoom, on Facebook Live, like people are doing this right now, and there's no automatic reaction from the audience. And that's exactly what you're talking about, is that you need energy to feed off of immediately. You need an immediate, instant gratification to perform stand-up comedy. And when you're not getting that, it's very difficult to continue with your set. But when you're a podcaster, or if you're doing some kind of just like interactive, like, if the three of us were on a Facebook Live, and, just like we're doing a podcast now, if you were doing like that, a kind of like live podcast setup, that's fine.
Yeah.
But no, to do my stand-up comedy set in front of basically no one, I'm gonna,
The
Right.
delivery's not the same. The
it's
reaction's
uncomfortable.
not there.
100%.
You wouldn't
Really
know if a joke
uncomfortable.
landed or not, and like how people feel about it. Like, yeah, that would be
Right.
really. It's just you in your room, just like, all right, thanks.
Right. So I think that a lot of these Facebook or whatever the thing is, when they're going live and they're doing it over the internet with no audience, I think that it's turning into more of like just kind of like a catch-up session instead of you running your actual jokes to them.
Got it. Yeah. It's interesting to think we all are on the same playing field. I'm talking about like events, things that I like that I do for work. Diana also, those have shifted. Budgets have
Everything.
completely shifted. Hours have
Weddings.
been cut. Weddings. I saw one person they had a wedding, like they were supposed to have their wedding the 28th of March,
Mm-hmm.
completely canceled. So their only way to show off their wedding dress and tux, they did the flip the switch TikTok challenge.
Hilarious.
Which I thought was super cute. And then they still got to wear their dress and still show everyone their dress. So they
Did
felt
they get
really
married?
Happy. I think by paper. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You know what? You save so much money.
Well, no, the wedding's already been planned. Invitations were already
I would be like, you know what? I'm done. Let's not even reschedule. Let's just get my money back.
Yeah.
I get it. And it's like, especially like you mentioned, Marley, living in a city like in Miami, the unique part about South Florida and Miami is that it's a very small business, entrepreneurial type of environment. So a lot of people have a lot of independent businesses where they're event coordinators, where they're producers of this and producers of that,
like freelancers.
Right. Most people, because that's just the culture here. Because there's always something going on, and like Bacardi's throwing a party and Grey Goose is throwing a party. It's a party town. So like there's always something going on. It has significantly impacted the economy here because of that. Because
of course,
we live off of tourism, just like any other city that's popular. We live off of, people coming over here and getting shit-faced drunk and spending way too much money. Like that's just what it is here. So when you hear about people that are very successful wedding planners, very successful this and that, this is killing them. This is absolutely killing them. And it's like, for example, look at you. If you would have been getting married, you would have canceled the whole wedding entirely and didn't even say let's reschedule. You know what I mean? So I feel
those vendors would lose out on all of this money. And then it's like, so even with stand-up comedy, I guess we could say, so let's pretend this is coming back in June, right? And we're going to be out and everyone could be back to work in June. So you're going to work. Now, are you going to go to a stand-up comedy show after work and expose yourself to more people?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
It's definitely this isn't going to impact our future. Is going to be completely different. The way we do things, interact with others, like long-term, me and Diana had this conversation on the last episode. I think this might be a seasonal thing that we need to start getting used to.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. So I've always felt like this. A little bit about me is that I have OCD and I suffer from it pretty badly. There's a documentary that's going to be coming out on me in I think about 2 weeks on Vice, just about my suffering with OCD. And they filmed it before this happened. And it's just so funny to see because they're editing it now. And we've been, in talks and everything about how the things that I was doing in the video that were, basically crazy is what everyone's being advised to do right now.
Right.
I was always careful about who came into my house, who used my bathroom, who touched anything in my house. I would ask people before they came over, like, have you been sick recently or any of your family members sick? I would get nervous around children that were school age because they're always sick, especially during like a flu season or right. And I would always ask, I remember that I dated some guy with a kid for a while and I used to ask him constantly about his kid. And I'd be like, hey, how does he feel? What's going on with him? And he's like, do you want to meet him? And I'm like, no, not at all.
I want to stay away.
I just want to make sure like this kid, it doesn't have the flu before you come and spend the night at my house.
Yeah. How has this impacted your OCD now then?
It's not great. It's really not great. So I guess there's both sides of it. The one side is that finally I'm not the crazy one. Finally, everyone's like on my level. And, you know, when they see me wash my hands 12 times, it's like, oh, good. She's good at this. You know,
she's got this down packed. Look at her technique.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I'm not wearing my shoes in the house. Yeah, no, you shouldn't ever wear your shoes in the house. Also, like, you know, grocery shopping, I put my bags on the floor, never on the counter, because who knows where they've been. And then I wipe off all my groceries. Like, why is this a brand new thing? You know,
Right.
Also, hey, people are saying now, like, if you're sick, stay home from work because we don't want to infect anyone. It's like, yeah,
that's the way it always should be. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what I've been telling you for years.
Isn't it amazing? For years, I've been going to work like, oh no, it's just a little cold. Like, you know, you're like, I got a little cold, until it like hits you and you're like, oh, I can't get out this bed.
Exactly.
I'm not no more.
Right, but you're going when you're most contagious.
Yes, exactly.
Like nothing.
I mean,
right, because you can't call in because your boss is like, you seem okay to come in.
Right. And I think that this also, in my opinion, has taught us that we may need to give the earth a break a couple of times a year. Sometimes, like, we may have to do like a week shutdown from time to time, because look at the sky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look at the weather. It's been immaculate. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is hurricane season for us down here. It hasn't even rained. So it's like, to me, it's like, is the earth taking a break from the pollution because we're all kind of chilling? Like, I'm also looking at it like, for what's to come, it's a possibility that they may ask us to stay inside for 2 weeks at a time, once a year, to kind of reset, because this has been such a lesson to us. Like, this is crazy. Like, we are reconnecting with our families, which is the silver lining in the situation. And for those of us who do have someone to share this experience with, you know what I mean? And it's like, you do speak to them more on the phone. You're more, you know, you're more active in kind of checking with the people you love. And these are all kind of like restarts for a lot of situations. And it's like, is that what's going to happen from now on? That we're going to have to kind of take these breaks?
I think that flu season next year, regardless if we have COVID here or not during flu season, it is going to be a total panic. I think that people are not going to, and also the other thing that I think about as well is how many people have asked to work from home from time to time, and your company says that it's impossible for you to work from home. And now all of a sudden they've figured out how you could work from home. So now when you're not feeling well, just a little bit not well, like you were saying, Marley, you're going to say like, hey, I think I'm coming down with a cold and I'm going to be working from home this week. And what are they going to say? No, you can't.
Nope, they're gonna give it up right then and there. It's gonna be
exactly. So I think that it might change the culture of, especially of America, where, you know, it's work hard
and harder.
And exactly.
I'm interested to see what the future looks like for us 100%, because just like 9/11, those impacts after our lives, I just keep reflecting back to that. Things shifted and changed so much for us then that this is gonna be a shift for us in our daily and forever activities from here
right. Like
out.
So for example, I love that you just said that about 9/11 and like changing things forever. The one thing that I think everyone could agree changed after 9/11 was flying and the security. So now I could imagine if we're online for security, we might get our temperatures taken.
Oh, that's wild. Now that's the other part. I'm afraid to give up anything of a fluid DNA-ish kind of thing of mine. I don't do my DNA kit blah 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 thing, right? Because I'm not into it.
I'm definitely gonna get framed for a murder, so I'm
right.
It's fine at this point. I'm like, I don't care. Just take
Tracy's
me.
like, take it all you want. Give it up. Let's go.
I don't care.
These are strange times, ladies. Strange times for sure. And I do want to make sure that we support your special coming up on Vice. That's pretty awesome. Shout out to Vice. It's like my favorite network. So that's pretty awesome. Make sure to let everybody know like how they can check that out, like what's the name of it and stuff like that.
Okay, so the Vice documentary, it's actually not finalized, so I'm not sure what it's going to be called, but you guys could check me out. I have my podcast. So I have Teen Mom Trash Talk. If you watch Teen Mom, I have 90 Day Fiance Trash Talk, and then I have a brand new podcast that I just launched that's actually very topical and of this conversation, which is called Only in New York. And what we do is we talk to a lot of different comics and different entertainers, and we talk about their experiences that are very unique to New York City. We just had Gilbert Gottfried on, and you know, he
Nice.
talked all about Brooklyn. So you know, it's a very interesting podcast. A lot of accents.
All I saw was a parrot in my head when he said Guilford Godfrey.
That's like, actually what he looks like in real life.
He doesn't.
He actually looks like the parrot, and he
All I
sounds like
saw
the
was the
Affleck
parrot,
deck.
and it's like, man, I can watch Aladdin right now. That was amazing. Like, just the thought of that. Like, I just picture the parrot right off.
That's very cool. That's awesome.
He's wonderful. Yeah, and absolutely. And also, you know, you can follow me on social media at Trixie Tuzzini, TrixieTuzzini. And my website has all of those all that information at tracycarnazzo.com.
Awesome. I really appreciate you giving everybody all that information. Everyone's looking for entertainment right now. So
for sure. We're having a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. At least podcasting is not going to die because we're great for these type of environments, which is great. Now, as a New Yorker, how do you think that the COVID experience has been for you versus what everybody else is experiencing? How does it feel to actually be there? We watching the news, but like, how does it feel? Yeah.
It feels very surreal. The thing that I'm grateful for is that I don't live in Midtown Manhattan. So I'm not like in the hustle and bustle of everything. I'm in Queens, which, you know, is kind of like the epicenter. And I'll tell you why it is sort of the epicenter. Obviously, we have a very high population and people live on top of each other here in Queens. And also the zip codes that are hit most terribly are a lot of immigrant communities where entire families live in very small environments. Mm-hmm. And I think that is also, you know, we don't have the room that you guys have.
Yeah.
So, you know, there might be 7 people living in a 2-bedroom in Queens. Like that would never happen in Florida.
Right.
You know, you would probably all buy a house.
There is the hood here. Let's not get it twisted.
No, for sure. But I'm just saying, like,
there's poverty in every situation. But yes, it's much higher in.
It's not even considered poverty here.
It's
just
it's just how it goes.
I mean, just how it goes. Right.
Having tons of generations all living together here in Queens, especially like I said, immigrant populations where that's the norm.
Yeah.
Right.
Even from wherever these people are from, like that is the norm. That like you know, a lot of families live together. And you know, it's commuting on subways and not driving your car. It's commuting on buses. It's all of that stuff that's like just unavoidable. And I'm lucky enough not to, you know, my job is from home and obviously my comedy's been canceled. So I'm able to stay a little bit safer. Yeah. But there are people, you know, a lot of my friends are healthcare workers and they're commuting to work on the subway and they say it's packed.
Wow. I've heard that. I've heard the morning route is still just as packed.
It's packed.
But everyone's rush hour. Almost the same places. Everyone has to make it to the hospitals, the healthcare workers, sanitation workers. I mean, anything that has some sort of essential necessity to it. They're still
right, but
there.
Remember, it's
everything
not
is essential right now.
Sure, right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not just a doctor that's going to work on the subway. Mm-hmm. Remember all of the things that we are receiving right now. You know, we're ordering from Amazon. Anyone who works in an Amazon factory, you're ordering from Macy's.
Yeah.
So if you work in the Macy's factory, you're out there in a distribution center. People are working regardless. You know, my friend, he works for a generator company. He's going into work. People are doing jobs that you can't do remotely.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at all of the grocery store clerks that are exposing themselves and risking their lives to thousands of people every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I went to Trader Joe's. We only have one in Queens. So I went there just to take a look. I was not getting out of the car. I had to go take a ride somewhere. So I went and I took a look and I took a video. So the line was all the way across the parking lot, through the parking lot, and it wrapped around the entire building. And that was just to get in to shop.
It was like a sneaker release.
Yeah, it was. It was a sneaker release, but a little bit more room in between everyone. Yeah, especially with the and they're not guaranteed that they're going to get what they want.
Yeah. Right, you are not going to get that Trader Joe's sweet and sour chicken.
Oh, it's so good though.
So good. It's very interesting. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, please, thank you for having me.
is fantastic and great to hear. We're happy to hear that you're safe and healthy, and your family members as well and friends.
Oh, I'm glad you girls are too.
And
Thanks,
just
thanks.
stay safe.
Oh
Stay
my
Yeah.
God, you
alive.
too. Just stay inside. Social
Stay
distancing is
inside, guys.
real. Stay inside. Stay inside. Order your groceries online. Can I give
Well,
you guys a tip for groceries?
yeah,
Please.
go ahead.
Are you girls ordering online, or are you going out to the store still?
I still
I'm
go to
going
the
to the
supermarket.
store.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've been ordering from Amazon Fresh, and all of your listeners could use this tip as well. So you're going to put everything in your cart, and then at midnight, if you have to set your alarm, do it. At midnight on the dot is when they release their delivery times.
Ooh.
And check out really, really quick, and you'll get almost everything that you put in your cart, and you could get delivery within like 2 days usually.
Okay.
Wow. Good.
Good to
So
know.
yeah,
I think
and then
things might get a
wipe
little
everything off.
worse. Might get a little worse
Right.
soon. So it's good to know all these little tricks to kind of survive. Yeah.
Yes,
pandemic tip.
This is you in the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much for all of that. That's a great tip, actually. I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, think about
Thank
it big
you.
time. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate you both.
Bye, hun. It was
Bye.
good seeing you.
You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.
So that was a enlightening conversation, and actually, I'm happy to see that there's still like a positivity. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Coming from a person that's literally living in the mecca of this catastrophe in our country.
Yeah. It does give us, and being able to communicate with someone else in this gives us a lot more, a good feeling, a lot more insightful, less of a panic thought. Like, I know I have a
Yeah.
sibling in Brooklyn, but she's like cooped up in the house and doesn't really get to go anywhere. But and that's a shift for her. For Tracy, it just seemed like I'm making it work. I'm making this, thought process kind of putting in a positive place. So
Right.
great to hear from her. And she's excited for what's to come, I guess, in the future of going back onto the comedy stage. Like, how is that? She's really thought this through. It's going to be a big impact. It's going to be a
Right.
major change.
And it also kind of gives comfort for all of those who do work in the entertainment industry. You're not the only one that's not performing. Everyone is not performing.
Everyone's not
So
performing.
I think that kind of gives you a little bit more comfort for those who are in that space, that it's like, hey, I'm not being recognized. Or maybe some people were at that cusp of shit really getting good, and then they had to do this crazy halt. And I know how that feels, because I've been there before, and it sucks. So it's like, I guess that it's reassuring to know that you're not the only person that's being impacted. If you are an entertainer, no one's being able to do this.
Yeah, but just be ready for when everything's opened back up, that ain't nobody playing.
Ain't nobody playing, but it also is going to be a slow upward motion. You know what I mean?
It's going to be a restart for a couple people, but ain't
Mhm.
nobody playing either.
Right.
There's a lot of money to catch back up to. There's a lot of things to catch back up to. So, shall be interesting.
Mhm.
Any final words exiting before we wrap up this episode?
Final words. Make sure to check on yourself first and think of how you can make this situation easier for yourself. I know a lot of people, for example, who are taking care of their kids, because that seems to be very stressful for a lot of people that I know that have children. It's extremely stressful to be a parent and a teacher and a counselor and all this other shit at the same time. So I guess don't forget to check on yourself. You know what I mean? And make sure that you're okay as another person during this time, because just like the airplane theory, you have to put on your mask first.
Yes. You have to be healthy in order to take care of others, to allow them to be
Mhm.
healthy as well. Thank you for those beautiful words.
Yeah.
This has been
Any quick recommendations?
No, I've just been watching cooking shows. I've been watching Chopped and Top Chef.
Cool.
That's it.
I for sure have cooked more than I've cooked maybe in this whole year, in this
And
past couple of weeks.
I already made plans that payday Friday, I'm ordering something. Like, it's
I
a
feel
wrap.
you. Like, you want to treat.
Oh, I'm going to we are ordering off this Uber Eats, and it's going to charge me that delivery, and I'll tip you, because I'm done.
I think deliveries are free now. You just tip them. Something like that. I'm
they
not
get
sure.
the
Depending
double
on
tip.
Yeah.
They'll get a double tip because I'm overcooking. So I think that's why the Top Chef and Chopped be keeping me a little bit more inspired when I get into the kitchen. But I'm over it. It's hot in there.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Cool. Very cool. I am basically just gonna say I've been watching 100 Humans on
I've heard
Netflix.
about that one.
Interesting. It's really cool just to kind of see how people surprise you.
Yeah,
There you go.
love to hear it. Don't forget to follow us at Fresh Mondays Pod on Instagram, on Facebook. Don't forget to email us at freshmondayspod@gmail.com. My name is Marley. You can find me at lovemarley, LUVMARLEY _ on Instagram. And you can
Yes.
follow
Diana at I am Diana C _ on IG. And remember that IG is Fresh Mondays Podcast. Make sure to follow us, contact us, hit us up. You want to be a part of the conversation, let us know. Shout out to Tracy. Thank you so much for taking the time and speaking with us. And we are looking forward to the very next episode. So we can keep bringing you content, keep you entertained, and have you have a voice over the speaker during these lonely times.
Have a good Monday.